Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. What we're seeing right now in the NFL, especially in the NFC East, is truly fascinating. The Washington Commanders, sitting at a solid 3-2, are quietly plotting a major move to boost their offense, and the whispers from insiders like Adam Schefter point to something potentially game-changing. It's all about the running game, which has been a bit inconsistent this season, but there's a serious push to elevate it to new heights. And it involves none other than Derrick Henry, the four-time Pro Bowler, the king of rushing, a player who's been dominating defenses since 2015. Now, imagine that power coming to the Commanders. What kind of impact could that have? Well, let's break it down. The Commanders are reportedly eyeing a blockbuster trade with the Baltimore Ravens, who, despite having a decent 4-1 record, have some issues on their offensive line and at the running back position. The Ravens, with a cap space of around $15 million, are looking to free up some funds, and it seems they're willing to part ways with Derrick Henry in exchange for a third-round pick in 2026 plus Antonio Gibson, who's been serving as a backup this season. This move would free up roughly $12 million in cap space for the Ravens, allowing them to invest in veteran extensions and bolster their secondary. Meanwhile, the Commanders, with a hefty $27 million in cap space, are considering this move as a way to supercharge their run game, which currently averages about 105 yards per game. Now with Henry stepping in, that number could skyrocket to over 160 yards per game, transforming their offensive identity. Henry, who has been a powerhouse in 2025 with 98 carries for 512 yards and 5 touchdowns in just 5 games, would bring a level of dominance that's hard to match. His yards per carry, 5.2, is among the top in the league, and his ability to break tackles, 28 so far this season, makes him a nightmare for defenses. His career stats are staggering: over 200 rushing yards, 98 touchdowns, and a career average PFF grade of 88.1, which places him comfortably in the top tier of NFL running backs. And he's not just a bruiser. He's a player who consistently creates big plays, with 45 runs over 20 yards in his career and a yards after contact average of 3.1. His inside zone rushing, where he averages 6.1 yards per attempt, highlights his strength and vision. And remarkably, he's been healthy this year after some injury setbacks in 2024, which limited him to 14 games. So the idea of adding Henry to the Commanders' backfield is not just about power, it's about consistency and explosive potential. On the other side, the Ravens, who are battling some issues with their offensive line, allowing an average of 2.8 sacks per game, and a running back room that includes Justice Hill, are looking to rebuild their ground game. Moving Henry, who commands a $16 million cap hit, in exchange for Antonio Gibson, who has a PFF grade of 72.6 and averages 3.8 yards per carry in 2025, makes sense for Baltimore. It's a way to recoup some cap space and focus on developing young talent like Hill, with an eye toward the future. The Ravens' defense, which is allowing just 18 points per game, remains their strength, but their offensive issues, especially in the run game, have been a concern. Adding Henry could be the boost they need for their playoff push, but at what cost? Now, let's talk about the impact this trade could have for the Commanders. Derrick Henry is not just a running back, he's a game changer. His presence in the backfield could add roughly 400 rushing yards over the course of the season, an enormous boost that would elevate the team's rushing average from 105 yards per game to around 160. That kind of production opens up so many possibilities: more effective play-action passes, less pressure on the quarterback, and a more balanced offense overall. And with Brian Robinson Jr. still in the mix, this could create a thunder and lightning duo that defenses simply can't handle. Robinson, who's been overworked at times, has shown flashes of brilliance, and with Henry taking some of the load, he can get fresher, more explosive carries. The synergy between these two could be a game changer, especially when you factor in how it would boost the efficiency of their RPOs, run-pass options, making the offense unpredictable and dangerous. And let's not forget how this could completely transform the dynamics of the offense. Take the example of Nick Chubb with the Browns back in 2022. His addition boosted their rushing attack by over 350 yards, and Henry could do something similar for the Commanders. Their offensive line would benefit from having a true workhorse in the backfield, who can break tackles, gain yards after contact, and keep defenses honest. This, in turn, could open up passing lanes for Terry McLaurin, who's been a reliable target, but has often seen double coverage or pressure due to the lack of a dominant running threat. With defenses forced to respect the run more, McLaurin and the other receivers would find more space, fewer sacks, possibly dropping from 3-1 per game to under 2-2, and overall, the offense would become more balanced and formidable. This strategic move also has playoff implications. The odds of winning the Super Bowl, which were around +80, could drop significantly if the Commanders pull off this trade and make good use of Henry's talents. Bookmakers now have them at +4,500, reflecting a more optimistic outlook. Derrick Henry's postseason stats, averaging over 5 yards per carry, show that he's proven his ability to perform under pressure. His presence in the playoffs could be the spark that elevates the Commanders from a good team to a serious contender. The potential journey to the playoffs, with a projected record around 10-7, gets a lot more exciting with a dominant ground game leading the way. Plus, considering the division, a strong run game could be the edge needed to surpass teams like the Eagles or Cowboys, who are also looking to make big moves. And what about the ripple effects? The trade signals a shift in the NFC East, a division that's been fiercely competitive for years. The Commanders reinforcing their ground attack might make their offense more resilient, especially in close games, and could even influence how other teams approach their strategies in the final stretch of the season. Baltimore, on the other hand, might be signaling a rebuild, focusing on youth and cap flexibility, but their defense remains a core strength. The Ravens' focus on younger players like Justice Hill, combined with the potential loss of Henry, indicates they're planning for a different kind of future, one that might prioritize speed and agility over pure power. So, as we approach the trade deadline on November 4th, all eyes are on Washington and Baltimore. Will this trade go through? Will Derrick Henry don the burgundy and gold? The expectations are sky-high, and the potential for this move to reshape the NFC playoff picture is real. If the Commanders succeed, they could be looking at a new era, one where their offense is not just about a solid run game, but about dominance, control, and consistency. Henry's addition could be the final piece that turns a good team into a powerhouse, making the division even more competitive and exciting. In summary, this trade rumor is more than just a player swap. It's a statement. The Commanders are willing to make bold moves to reach the top, and Derrick Henry might be the key to unlocking their full potential. The NFC East is heating up, and with this kind of strategic thinking, the Commanders could be on the verge of a major breakthrough. The next few weeks will tell us a lot, but one thing is for sure. Fans who love ground-and-pound football, who love seeing their team dominate physically, should be incredibly excited about what's potentially coming. The stage is set for an electrifying run, and Derrick Henry might just be the catalyst to make that happen. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So as the deadline approaches, all eyes are on the front offices of Washington and Baltimore. Will they finalize this blockbuster? How will it affect the playoff race? Can Derrick Henry really be the difference maker the Commanders need to take that next step? The excitement is palpable, and the potential benefits are enormous. For Washington fans, it's a shot of hope, a chance to see their team finally take that leap from good to great. For the NFL as a whole, it's a reminder that the trade deadline is where dreams are made or broken, where teams gamble for glory and where legends are born. We'll be watching closely, bringing you all the latest updates, analysis, and reactions. Because one thing is for sure, this is a story you don't want to miss. Stay tuned, stay excited, and let's see how this story unfolds in the coming days. The NFC East is about to get a whole lot more interesting, and the Commanders might just be leading the charge into a new era of dominance.